Someone's pissing in the background.
Welcome to the Kevin Lee Show. I'm your host, Kevin, and today we're going to have 3 guests. First off, Angie. Say hi, Angie.
Hey.
John.
Hello.
And Witness Protection Program, Chris.
Hello.
Anyways, we are going to be, as the title of the video says, we're going to be reviewing Wonder Woman in all its glory. But before we get there, we're going to go over the trailers that we saw first in the film. And to begin with, we're going to go with a movie trailer that I can't even really remember. It's called Home Again, starring Reese Witherspoon.
Yes.
Okay, so you probably remember more about it than I do.
All I remember is she's a recent divorcee, or she's separated from her husband. She gets a boyfriend, and she sleeps with him, and the kids see him, and then her ex-husband comes home and wants to rekindle. So it looks garbage.
So that's pretty much the American dream then.
American Nightmare.
Same.
You know, it's crap.
It looks like crap.
It does. It's not.
What did you think of it, Chris?
It's a chick flick for like teenage girls.
No. It's for middle-aged women. Teenage girls don't care about divorces yet. Right, Angie?
Nope.
Middle-aged divorcees want stability, so they go after older guys with money. Or guys their own age with money, they don't go after
Okay,
college kids.
let's not go ahead and alienate half the world.
Actually, it's like 55% now, but you know.
Also, keep it on me. I want to apologize for the review being super, super late because I was in the hospital when everybody else got to see the movie.
Yeah, it was his fault.
Yeah, it was. Thanks, you prick. Yes, it was my fault. We should have done this about 2 weeks ago. But we're doing it now, so you're welcome. And also, in the last video, I said that Colin Trevorrow was directing episode 8 of Star Wars. It's not Colin Trevorrow. He's actually doing episode 9. It's Ryan Johnson, who did the movie Brick and Looper and the Bloom Brothers. I just want to clarify that. So, all right, let's go on to trailers then.
Okay, so the next trailer we're going to be talking about is one I'm actually looking forward to seeing. It's called The Hitman's Bodyguard. Again, I just saw the trailer. And also, just so anyone knows, there's going to be links to all the trailers down in the description. So if you're watching this video either now, well, actually, don't do it now, but if you're watching it later, you can always go and click on those links and it'll show you what movies we're talking about. But anyways, The Hitman's Bodyguard stars Ryan Reynolds,
Sam Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson. Is there anyone else big in that movie? I don't even know from what I saw in the trailer. But it's basically what Samuel L. Jackson is a hitman.
Who turns witness protection.
Oh, that's like, okay. I didn't realize that was a scenario. Okay.
And Ryan Reynolds is assigned to guard him so he can testify.
So who does Ryan Reynolds work for then?
I think he's independent. And the government just hires him, or somebody hires him to watch Sam Jackson's back.
Okay.
Yeah, what we saw at that screening was a PG trailer, which was garbage. If you want to see, watch the Red Band trailer. Go search that out. The PG one's just clean, and it's a foul-mouthed movie. Everyone's really mean to each other. It looks fun. The PG version, it looks like it should be on after like Bob's Burgers. It's not a good looking show. And I'm nothing against. I love Bob's Burgers, so that's not even a dig on them. It's just it looks very pedestrian, without the profanity, because that's part of the funny part and the violence. Just seek out the Red Band trailer.
Yeah, I agree. From what I saw, it was much better, and I think the movie itself is going to be pretty potentially good.
Well, yeah, he's coming out. Ryan Reynolds is coming off Deadpool, so he's on a roll right now.
Now, not to get too far off the subject, but are they shooting the next one already?
They started filming last Monday, I think, on Deadpool 2, up in Canada.
Okay. I
believe.
Anything to add, Chris? To that
Nope.
Hitman's Bodyguard? Okay.
Nope.
All right, so the third trailer we're going to talk about is one that I think... I at least out of these group, I'm most interested in seeing is Thor. Was it Ragnarok?
Ragnarok, yeah.
Ragnarok. Now that's not coming out till when?
November.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the one I'm most looking forward to. if you've been to any movie probably in the last 6 months, you really don't need much description of the movie because it's had a trailer pretty much in front of every single movie. But do you want to describe it just in case people haven't seen it or no?
There's really nothing to describe. I mean, it's just shows Thor. He's being held captive. As I explained in the last video, when we talked about the trailer then, for the Guardians 2 review. It's basically it's Ryan Reynolds. Oh, Ryan Reynolds. Jesus.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds on the brain.
So yeah, it's Thor, and they show a bunch of clips of Ragnarok's the end of Asgard and the end of the universe, basically end of the world as we know it. So the movie just shows like Thor's hammer getting destroyed, Mjolnir, and Thor's being held captive, and he ends up on a planet fighting Hulk in a gladiator arena. And that's really about it. I mean, it's a teaser.
Right, of course. Right.
I mean, it looks fun, though. It looks really, really interesting. Good. Yeah. There's a little shot of Loki being naughty in there as well.
I don't remember that.
Well, he's a trickster. He's a naughty trickster.
He's a naughty boy.
Naughty.
So I know, Angie, you're not real huge into the whole superhero things and Marvel and DC. But have you seen anything about that Thor movie?
No.
Have you seen any of the Thor movies?
No.
Have you seen anything ever?
Just the Avengers and Wonder Woman.
Ah, good.
So but you know who Thor is, right?
Yeah.
Is he a good-looking man?
Not really.
So that he's a bit of a Thor spot with you?
Thor spot.
Kill me. Okay.
All right. So where were we? We were. My phone disappeared on me.
I'm so sorry.
So we did Thor Ragnarok. So the next one, I really when I see the trailer, it makes me think I should want to see the movie, but I really have no urge to see it at all. And that's Atomic Blonde.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. Now, there's a story behind Atomic Blonde. The first John Wick movie with Keanu Reeves, when that came out, they had 2 directors that were former stunt coordinators on Keanu Reeves films. One of the directors went on to, he's directing Deadpool 2, and he did John Wick 2. And then the other half is directed this Atomic Blonde movie. So, the action's supposed to be super hyper stylized and fun. It's got Charlize Theron, James McAvoy. There were a couple other people in there. I can't remember their name. Oh, John Goodman's in it. And the chick from the new Mummy movie, who also played the alien chick in Star Trek Beyond, and Sam Jackson's henchwoman in The Kingsman. I forget her name. But let me go say, that trailer is really inappropriate for a PG-13 audience. Because we saw this with Wonder Woman. These are parents bringing kids. And there's a scene in there where Charlize Theron is making out, and not in a nice, pleasant lesbian way.
Right.
Like hardcore, shut your filthy mouth. That is really inappropriate for kids. Because there was like 7 and 8 year olds, and there's like gross, just, and I say this, it's inappropriate for kids, but like hardcore tongue kissing and like reach arounds and stuff in a trailer for a movie in front of Wonder Woman. And I heard children literally be gasping and going, ew, gross, when that stuff came up.
It's terrible.
It was inappropriate. I don't have a problem with the trailer, really.
Well, for the age group, right?
It's really, it was a little much for kids.
And they approved that, right? I mean,
it was approved, which it should not have been.
Yeah, especially for Wonder Woman, because they bring a lot of young girls in there because they're trying to,
Yeah, I mean, you want to bring it's like.
Bring your daughter to work day.
Kinda, yeah. You want to show a strong role model for your daughter, and it's a little much for a 9-year-old to handle. And I know it wasn't just, it was boys and girls just be like, oh God. Like, I didn't see any parents take their kids out, but I'm sure there were eyes being covered.
Oh yeah. No, I agree.
So, and overall, the movie premiered at, I want to say it wasn't, premiered not at Cannes, or maybe it was the Toronto Film Festival a couple of months ago, actually. Like, the film's basically done. It's been done for a while. And the reviews on it have not been kind, actually, really. The early reviews were, they said it was okay. So it pairs the other John Wick directors the good one. So that's a good sign for Deadpool 2 then. John Wick 2, if you haven't seen it, it's a fantastic movie.
Does Angie have an opinion on this?
And did you see that trailer?
Yeah, I saw it.
What did you think of it?
No, it kind of seemed appealing to me, the movie. I don't know, because it seems kind of like the same type of thing as like the Lucy movie a little bit.
Oh, sure. You saw Lucy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. It seems kind of interesting to me.
Well, I mean, you're 15. I mean, I wouldn't expect that to gross you out, but was it, in your opinion, is it appropriate for someone like 8 or 9 years old to see that?
No, not
Yeah,
really.
see, exactly.
And you know that there were a lot of young kids that, people brought their young, especially girls, to see that movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of strange. All right, so before we get too sidetracked here, because we still have to do the review of the movie, let's go to the last trailer we saw, and that was Geostorm.
I'll give $5 if someone can tell me what the hell that movie's about, because I don't know. They just showed like lightning and like bad weather, and after 45 seconds of that, it just said Geostorm. Right. That means nothing.
Right.
I have no. I literally could be a Weather Channel special. I don't know what it is. Oh, your mic go dead? Okay. You back in?
Yeah, hold on a second. All right, sorry, we had technical difficulties there for a second. My mic crapped out on me. Anyways, so Geostorm, really have no idea what the hell it's about. Really, not a clue.
No.
I think it's something about controlling weather, and somehow it goes, bad.
If we're lucky, it's the Cobra Weather Dominator machine, and it has something to do with that. But I that's holding out hope.
Yeah.
Do you not remember the 80s cartoon? They had the Weather Dominator.
Not really. No, I don't really
Cobra
remember.
Commander.
No.
No. All right.
I was busy outside. I don't really remember. Okay, so anyways, so there we go. So we have the trailers done, and now it's time to get to the movie. Right. So I'm terrible at giving summaries. So since this is a spoiler alert video and it's all over the video, so if you see it, it's a spoiler alert. So do you want to kind of give a synopsis of the and then pick it apart, or you just want to start picking it apart?
Well, let's give a synopsis. Actually, Angie, let's hear what was the plot of the movie to you?
Just that there was a girl from, I forgot where she lived.
Themyscira, I think is the name of the island.
And then what was it? The Germans or something attacked them, so then they had to enter the war with the guy that also came to her island and helped try to attack with them. And then
Hello. God.
And then they like fell in love or whatever, and then
everyone lived happily ever after.
no. Then of course he had to die at the end.
That's pretty much the movie in a nutshell.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. Just to extrapolate on that. So yeah, it's just an origin. It's Wonder Woman's origin story. Apparently, she was made out of a statue of clay because her mom prayed to Zeus for her to be real. She became real. She's a weapon. This is heavy spoilers. She's the ultimate weapon in the movie, and that's like that's a red herring up until the end of the movie.
Only she doesn't know it.
Yeah, she doesn't know it. She thinks her sword is the ultimate weapon, but she actually is the weapon to defeat Ares, the god of war. Apparently, there's a big falling out between the gods, and he happened to kill all of them. I don't know how you kill Zeus, but whatever. So Steve Trevor, played by Chris Pine. Yeah, that's the cast of the movie. Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman. Chris Pine is Steve Trevor. Danny Houston's in it.
Who?
Danny Houston played the German commander.
The guy who they thought that was Ares for the whole time.
Right. Oh, and that was a guy that was really based off of someone from the German. Okay,
Yeah, he was. He's actually, if you don't know the name, he was the colonel in, God help me, X-Men Origins Wolverine that he played Stryker that turned Logan into Wolverine basically and gave him his claws, his metal skeleton. He's been in a ton of stuff, but that's probably where he'll be most well known. Is there anybody else really memorable? Oh, Robin Wright's in the cast as his. She plays like the head of the Amazon security force on the island. Yeah, they're Amazons.
Probably should mention that part.
Yeah, probably should mention that. They're Amazons. Go figure. And I believe her mom was played by Connie Nielsen, who I'm sure I've seen in other things. But for the life of me, I couldn't pick her out of a lineup if you've paid me. And they had relatively marginal parts. They were more side characters. The Steve Trevor character also has a secretary. And that was pretty forgetful for me anyway. I think that basically covers the plot. Well, I should say Steve Trevor is an American pilot. He's on a mission. Ends up on the island, and the island's been hidden by magic. And the Germans followed him in, and they attack. There's 3 major battle sequences. That's the first. And full disclosure, before I even start really getting into my portion of the review, I did fall asleep during the film. Not just for a little while, or at least a half hour. So take what I have to say with a grain of salt. I'm going to try and not critique certain portions of it just because maybe I didn't get the full picture. But other parts I did. Also, the part of Ares is played by David Thewlis, I believe is his name.
That's the one from Harry Potter?
Yeah, he was Professor Lupin, I think was his character from Harry Potter.
Sounds right.
From Prisoner of Azkaban, he was a couple of the other ones.
Did you see the Harry Potter movies?
Azkaban I saw on screen. That was the only one I saw at the theater because of the girl I was dating at the time. She had kids and we took the kids. I hated it. That's my most hated Harry Potter movie, actually. That one and the 4th one I disliked immensely.
Well, we'll get to that some other time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Moving back to Wonder Woman.
Shut your mouth. Unless you want to do it. I mean, okay, so Diana's like, oh my God, Germans, we got to stop the war. We can't have men killing each other. So she gets off the island. She takes Steve Trevor with her. They go to London. They went to Paris first, right?
Yeah, maybe.
I think it was Paris. They end up. They run in. They introduce at this point. Steve Trevor had been fleeing the Germans because he bombed a poison factory that was making mustard gas, I think. And they have a character called Dr. Poison. Right? Isn't that her name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Poison. She's got a funky face. She wears like a half mask. So she looks like a female Phantom of the Opera. So she's one of the main villains. As is the Danny Houston character. Excuse me. So basically, it's Diana trying to, she doesn't want men killing each other. She thinks Ares is out there, and she thinks he's the Danny Houston character, and she has to stop him because he's causing men to do this to each other. Not that we would do it on our own because we're not violent. We'll get to that in the end. But basically, yeah, her mission, they want to stop Dr. Poison. They want to stop the war. Her mission is to kill the Danny Houston character and kill Ares. So there's no more threat. The island was hidden in the first place because Ares was hidden by Zeus, if I remember correctly, because they were trying to protect the women there. They were Zeus's warriors, his personal bodyguards. So he was trying to keep them safe. And Diana, Themyscira, that's Wonder Woman. She's the ultimate weapon. I feel like I keep repeating myself. Could somebody help me out? That'd be great.
I'd love to. My microphone cracked on me again. I gotta switch on microphone.
Okay, well, why don't you go ahead and put your technical difficulties on? We'll be back in a moment.
I did. Of course I did. All right. So anyways, I'm on a different microphone. Sorry, we're having technical difficulties.
Are we back?
Yeah, we're back.
Okay.
So I'd be more than happy to talk now. But what were we talking about exactly?
Oh, dear God. We were just going over the plot of the movie.
Well, I think we've gone over enough of the plot of the movie itself, though, don't you think?
Yeah, let me reiterate once again. Fell asleep for at least a half hour. There's 3 major battle sequences. I apparently slept through the second one, which is supposed to be great. So I will not be commenting on that. You guys saw it, so you'll have to talk about it.
Well, I'm going to give my overall impression of the movie. I thought it was actually a pretty good movie. From start to finish, I think for the audience and audiences that it was written for from young to old, having enough of something but not too much of something to kind of keep everyone's interest into it, I think it was actually a good movie, considering what year it was made for. I mean, obviously this was shot back in, what, was supposed to be in the 40s?
No, World War I.
World War II.
Well,
No,
yeah.
World War One.
World War II. That was the one
No.
with the Germans.
Well, both World War One and Two both involved Germany. Captain America's World War II. Wonder Woman's World War One.
So anyways,
about
but
1917, 1918.
so
somewhere
but
in
the
that
thing is, it
range.
wasn't written around for anything that's going on nowadays. So because of that, I think they did a good job, personally. Now, Angie, what did you think?
Yeah, I really liked all of the battle scenes, especially the second one where she was like blocking everyone so then they could cross the, what was it, like no man's zone or something?
Oh, yeah. No, that was actually good, yeah.
And then the third one, with Ares, I thought it was just like too kind of like long.
Oh, you mean like the big end fight scene?
Yeah.
Oh, with the lightning bolts. Yeah, that was a little bit too long.
But I mean, I overall really liked how like they chose all the characters and everything. But I feel like she shouldn't be able to just like stop everything with just like her 2 little arm things and her shield. Like, I don't know.
So you weren't buying it, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, they never explained that her clothing / armor, nor her wrist,
bracelets.
well, elongated bracelets, yeah, or her sword or anything of that nature was like supernatural or gifted from the gods, except for her lasso. That's the only thing they said was really a gift from the gods.
Right. Well, I think, though, they're trying to also do that for time. Like, they don't want to explain everything too much. They want to,
Well, they could have explained, 2 minutes, not even would have been fine, let alone they could have taken 2 minutes off any battle scene they wanted to, and we wouldn't have missed out. In fact, it might have made some of those battle scenes better because they seemed to drag on a little bit. With the special effects and the slow motion and the continuous slow motion and the more continuous slow motion. Got a little nagging.
Yeah, no, I agree. It did. There were some scenes that seemed to drag on quite a bit. But, yeah. Now, so even though I enjoyed the movie for the most part, which I did, the one thing that I really didn't like about it, at least my initial impression when I was walking out of the movie, is I think Angie agrees with me, is the fact that Chris Pine's character, the pilot, was his name?
Steve Trevor.
Steve Trevor, dies. I mean, he dies heroically, but he still dies. And I think that actually kind of it didn't ruin the movie for me, but like I was not happy about it. Later on, though, I think I kind of came around and thought, well, obviously, all the other movies are going to fast forward to nowadays time, so he would have been gone anyway. So it doesn't really matter if they killed him off. But I think it did bother me. But it did bother you too, didn't it?
Yeah, I felt like there were ways that he could have escaped that and still saved everybody. So
Right.
yeah, I
Like
feel
he
like
could have piloted the plane up with Wonder Woman, maybe even, and then parachuted out of the plane, and then she blew it up with herself in there, and somehow he catches her because she's a god. She can fly around or cushion her own fall or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, she does fly in the movie, right? She's supposed to be a demigod or a god of some sort, so...
Yeah, I guess she flies.
he could have just flown it up and then jumped out, and she could have, just blew it up somehow, flew through it or something.
well, I think during that time she was still kind of fighting Ares, though. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, she was a bit busy. But yeah. Well, and also, like I was saying, I don't think it really took away anything from the movie because he wouldn't have been around for any of the other movies. And then on top of it, had he lived, they were, quote unquote, in love, and had
You can't have that.
yeah, because then wouldn't she have kids or wouldn't they have been married and then they had to have, but that was never really a history for her because she was never with anyone.
I believe in the comic books he doesn't commit suicide like that. He's in there for quite a few years of that book, and then he dies of natural causes or whatnot.
Oh, does he? I know nothing of the history of Wonder Woman. All I know is Linda Carter back in the 70s.
Actually,
yeah, she worked with him back in the 70s. That was her boss, and they both worked for like the Air Force or something.
we could do a quick origin of Wonder Woman's creator, who is the guy that actually invented the lie detector.
Really?
He also lived a very interesting life with his wife and a couple of girlfriends.
Yes.
And he was into bondage. And if you go back to early Wonder Woman comic books, she's continually tied up.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the guy had a fixation on women where he liked women to dominate men. So that
would explain the lasso and a lot of stuff.
Her creation's a little skeevy.
So Angie, how does it make you feel?
I feel like that kind of explains things in an odd way.
Explains the lasso.
Yeah.
The quote unquote truth lasso, or the lasso of truth, or whatever it's called.
Makes you tell the truth.
Okay, well, just even though I missed a portion of the movie. I mean, the movie's 2 hours, 15 minutes, 2.5 hours, something like that. I missed about a half hour. I don't feel like I missed a thing.
Right.
Honestly, action scenes are a dime a dozen if they're not done well. And from what I saw in the first and last action scenes, I didn't miss. There's nothing I could have missed except maybe some slow motion shots. And let's talk about Wonder Woman's power set. It makes no sense. And this is a big problem I have with DC Comics characters in general. Is DC Comics 9 times out of 10 will bend the rules to make the character have a power out of nowhere that fixes all their problems. Wonder Woman can fly. Why? Because she's a god. Okay, that makes sense. Later on, in the next film, I've been told she's getting her invisible jet. So, is she limited flying? Because I've seen her in space with Superman in some instances.
So why have the jet?
Yeah. Also, she's as strong as Superman when they want her to be in the comics. Other times she's not. That's a big issue. Marvel Comics is really good with. Actually, there's a great issue of Iron Man. It's an annual, I think, where they break down. They literally take all the heroes in the Marvel universe back in the 70s, and they show you where everybody is on their level of power, and they've pretty much stayed consistent this entire time. So everybody's got a max. Like Hulk's about the only one that doesn't, because Hulk stronger, better Hulk gets, stronger Hulk gets. Like Superman. Like Superman's a different story because he's a battery. He gets charged up by our yellow sun. So the older he gets, the more exposure he has to the yellow sun, stronger he gets. So that's different. Whereas Wonder Woman, and they pull this crap with Batman. It's like no matter what happens to Batman, there are no consequences. He's going to overcome the problem at some point because he's Batman and he's the best at everything. And if you look at the internet loves to do versus matches with characters, and they did a ridiculous one I saw from maybe a month and a half ago, may even been more recent. It was Iron Man versus Batman, and Batman murdered Iron Man, literally murdered him in the video.
Really?
Iron Man could kill him from space.
Right.
I don't understand why Iron Man would fight him up close on the ground and not. And then, like, they show him EMP Iron Man. Iron Man's got EMP protection. That's all he can do. Iron Man would destroy Batman. Anybody would destroy Batman in a real fight. Any of these characters, but yet every freaking time, Batman's the best at everything. It drives me nuts. DC has a weird, like I said, they just changed the rules to fit their heroes, and that's why people don't like DC as much.
Right.
It's hard to relate to characters that, you know, it's hard to relate to characters. They're not humans. That's why, you know, they're considered gods, and they all are. It's ridiculous. It's hard to, you know, it's hard to relate to a god. You know, that's people like Iron Man and Spider-Man. They have faults. They're humans.
Right. Well, they're humans, right?
You know, and even Thor's got problems. You know, he's got his brother, he's got his dad, he doesn't want to be king, blah, blah, blah. He's got crap, he's got baggage. I'm Superman.
Right.
What are my problems?
Right, exactly.
You know, kryptonite.
Which is, right.
Just stay away from green stuff and you're fine.
Sure.
Batman buys his way out of everything.
Well, you can do that when you're, what is he, a multi-billionaire?
Yeah. Yeah, smart. Yeah, he's smarter than everybody in that universe, which is ridiculous. Like Batman's, you know, you go look at the Fantastic Four. Reed Richards builds freaking portal machines that go to other dimensions. Batman builds a battering that follows you around a corner. Mm-hmm. That's a big skill set difference.
Right.
Well, he hires people to do it to him, maybe for a frisbee, and then he translates it to a battering.
Right, but
okay. Well,
Batman is a tactician, just like the Punisher is a tactician. The Punisher
Captain America is a tactician. Punisher, yes, is a tactician.
Yeah, but Punisher doesn't have any superpowers at all, nor is he rich.
No, he's psychotic. That's a power.
I actually like that.
But and that's going in, and I only bring all of that up because going in, I have had an issue with Wonder Woman as a character since I was a child. I've never liked her, and I grew up with Super Friends, and it's not a like I don't like strong women type thing. I have no problem with them. I practically have Buffy tattooed on my chest. I make people watch it. You know, I like strong female characters. I have no issues with those. Ask Angie, didn't I make you watch Buffy?
Yeah.
Yeah, see? Like I forced Buffy on a child. That's how much I like strong women. Oh, that didn't come out right.
Sorry.
Yeah,
me too. Right.
Me too, officer. No, but I don't. It's not that she's a woman. It's really not. It's her character sucks. I hate her character. And you know, I'm not a huge fan of Supergirl either. But you know, her power set makes sense. She's you know, Superman's cousin. So that, you know, she should be that strong. But like I said, they changed the rules with a character like Wonder Woman just to suit their needs and all their stories. And they do that, like I said, they do that with the Batman. They do it with, you know, other characters. Whenever they reboot a character, they make them crazy. And let me just point out, I hated Aquaman as well with Super Friends. So Wonder Woman was not alone. Aquaman's lame to a 5-year-old kid. Because even when you're 5, you're like, well, what good is talking to fish?
Right. No, definitely.
And how does he control whales? Because they're mammals. Just because they live in the water doesn't make them fish.
It's called charisma, John.
It's called crap. It's called poor storytelling.
All right, John, start winding this down. What did you
No, I'm not done. When I'm done, I will wind down. Because we're doing Transformers in a little while. You're going to see wound up then.
Yes. From all of us.
Rage.
Including Angie, and she didn't even see it.
She's angry too. Well, okay. So overall, I went in open-minded. I gave it a shot. I didn't care for the storytelling. Like, I don't like her origin. I'm not a huge fan of it. The setting is fine. A lot of people are claiming, oh, they're ripping off Captain America. They're not. Her character, in World War I, it makes sense. That part of it makes perfect sense. They're fighting chemical weapons and all that. Here's some issues I did have with the movie. One, the action sequences I saw were awful. I thought they were really, really poorly done. That third fight with Ares goes on forever and nothing happens. And then here's the other thing that really took me out of the movie, and maybe I would have enjoyed it a lot more. The way it was shot and the special effects are awful. This movie looks like it was made for $1.50. Everything looks like it's done on green screen. Even at the beginning of the movie when they're on Themyscira, you can see them. They color corrected out the sun, kind of, in a couple of shots. It's dreary. It's gray and drab. There's very little color in it.
Well, on the island, it's always like sunny.
Well, no. If you remember the island, it's gray on the freaking island too. From what I recall.
Well, the island is hidden from the rest of the world in fog and mist and darkness.
Yeah, from the
so
outside.
Like it looks like a storm that's always in one place from the outside, but in the inside, it's like always sunny except for night.
Well, that would be called day. When the sun's out.
Right, but day
no. If you look at it, they color corrected it because there's literally you can see the sun shining on certain characters' heads with shadows, but they color corrected it all to make it all like just look like one color, and the special effects are awful.
Yeah, they needed some more work.
I thought the thing looked cheap as hell. Apparently, Zack Snyder's got everybody working on his Justice League movie because nobody was working on this thing. It looks bad. And that's really disappointing. When you got a tentpole picture, I mean, it looks awful.
I don't remember it looking awful, but again, I guess I was paying more attention to the storyline than the imagery itself, and I didn't have anything jump out at me that was awful at any point. But maybe it was. I mean, I don't know. Like you said, like with the color correction, I don't remember seeing that. And I do remember a lot of part of it being sunny, but maybe I'm just, remembering it improperly. I don't know.
It's very dark. It's a dark film.
It's an island created by Zeus. So
not just the island. I'm talking about when they get to the city and everything. It's dark then too.
Well, it's England. It's like always kind of balmy in England.
Yes, it's not Philadelphia.
They still have sun there. I've seen it. I've seen pictures. The sun does come out overseas.
Not very much.
We're not even we're just talking about the movie. I don't really give a flying fuck about the weather in England right now. And if you're an English viewer, I love your country, and hope the weather's fantastic. But it's an ugly picture. And a lot of people complain that Batman vs Superman it's very much got that kind of color palette that Batman vs Superman. Sun doesn't come out once in that except for the beginning.
Well, that movie was so dark. I remember for like 90% of it, I couldn't understand what the hell was going on in any scene. It was just completely dark everywhere.
It's a really dark, and we're gonna get this Schneider in the Transformers review because I got some stuff to say.
Okay, but Angie, what was your overall impression of the movie?
I honestly really liked the movie. Like, I'd probably rate it like 9.5 out of 10, honestly.
We only do 4 stars here. So you're
she
going to
can do her scale.
No.
Angie scale?
No.
9.5?
4.
9.5 Angie?
So 3.9 out of 4. I pretty much liked everything except for just how he died in the ending.
You're literally saying it's a perfect movie.
But, I mean, it was to me. Like, I didn't really notice anything wrong with, like, any of the graphics or any plot lines. Yeah, nothing.
Wait, so let me ask you this. Overall, what did you feel about it? I mean, do you feel she represents is she a good role model for girls? Did you not even think of her that way? Did you just think of her as a hero?
Yeah, kind of just like as a hero in general, not just like for females.
Interesting. Because you hear a lot of people like saying, well, women need that kind of role model. But I like I find it interesting that you didn't see her that way. Like, you just saw her as a person.
Mm-hmm. I just found her like a tiny bit too sensitive in the fact where she was like, oh no, we have to help all these people like right away. Like, they couldn't have any negative thoughts or feelings about anyone. It's just Ares controlling them. Like, that was the only part that I was like,
Well, you also gotta, she's very naive.
Yeah, that too.
So I out of 3, out of 4 stars, like I said, I'm gonna just rate what I saw. Maybe if and when I watch it again, which I'm sure I will, it might go up. Right now, I feel I'm very meh about it. I'm kind of in the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 boat with it. I didn't care for it. I don't like the character. And that, it is what it is. I can't say whether I thought she'd make a good role model for girls. It's weird that people are always like, "You're a superhero. You got superheroes that have to live up to a standard because they're role models." When I was a kid, I loved Spider-Man and Superman and Batman, and I don't know what kids glom onto today. I don't. And you're not a kid. You're 15, so you're seeing it more as an adult would. It'd be interesting to see what your little one, your younger kids would think of it down the road.
Oh yes, down the road because they're like 4 and 3.
They're 3 and 4. So yeah, I'm not going to be the best judge right now.
Or maybe they would be. But no, I'm actually surprised you give such a high score. I thought it was a good movie, but I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I'll give it 2.5 out of 4.
I thought you liked it.
I liked it, but a couple of things really bugged me was the slow motion scenes dragged on too long. There's only so much slow motion you need, to have a bullet fired at you and glance off. You don't need to watch it forever, and then the next bullet forever, and the bullet after that forever, and the bullet after that forever, and then maybe the tank shell bounce off your shield. I don't need to watch that forever. And then didn't really get to see enough of Wonder Woman running on the ground, beating up people during the scene, like when they're taking No Man's Land, when John was asleep, when Wonder Woman runs from the English trenches over to the German trenches or through No Man's Land to get to the city on the other side where Dr. Poison was and Ares and all that. It needed more of her beating up more of the bad guys. She pretty much was like a hot knife through butter and, beat up 2-3 guys, a couple bullets glance off of her, a tank shell, and she's done. Meanwhile, in real life, the British and the Germans, only moved, by a few feet back and forth here and there for like 3 years. Because the fighting was so intense and the snipers were, hyper accurate because the enemy was only 100 yards away, blah, 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 hiding in a trench just like you. But the special effects, and Wonder Woman had surprisingly little dialogue to me. The movie's about her. There should have been more dialogue about her, developing her character a little bit more as a person, or the person she would become. And then a little bit more of a background with Ares and why he was the way he was. Because they just at the end kind of threw him in, haha, all along I'm Ares, the god of war, but I'm actually the god of truth. And, as the god of truth, I just want you to see mankind as they really are, and they deserve to annihilate each other, blah, blah, blah. I'm not really the bad guy, but yet he really was. So they just, within the span of 30 seconds kind of threw that in. It's like, wow, 2 hours, 15 minutes, but this guy, the main bad guy, is like 30 seconds. That's his whole story. I'm a little disappointed in that. And then to whoever else wants to speak.
Actually, did you already rate it, Kev?
Yeah, I gave it just over 3 stars.
Performance-wise, would anybody stand out to you? What did you like Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman? Did you think she was good?
I thought she was wonderful.
Yeah,
I liked her as Wonder Woman. I just wish they gave her better dialogue.
Yeah, I didn't. Once again, I don't think she was bad in the role. I didn't get any real impression with her though. Like she was just kind of meh. And I really, I don't mind her. I've only seen her. This is really the first movie I've seen with her in it. I did catch part of one of those Fast and Furious movies that she's in, but I think she had like 2 lines that I saw.
She was like eye candy for, and she looked anorexic in there on top of it.
Yeah, don't start with that. We'll have fanboys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she does not have armpit hair. Sorry.
That was pretty ridiculous. I did hear about that. That was ridiculous.
It's amazing what people will complain about. If you really want to go full Amazon, she should have her right breast cut off so she could use a bow and arrow, because that's the thing they did, in theory, in the legend. Chris Pine, who I normally love, I love him in the Star Trek movies. I think he's great. Funny story, I wanted him to be Captain America before they picked Chris Evans. I think he would have been great. But I'm not complaining. Chris Evans is pretty to look at too. I thought he was. He didn't phone it in. That script really lacked to me.
Well, if anything, it was the script. It wasn't the actors. And I actually thought both roles were good. I had no problem with Chris Pines or Gal Gadot.
I found his assistant annoying.
Oh, yes. No, yeah. But I mean, that's who she was supposed to be. But even then, they never explained all that really. So I was trying to figure out who she was, and then they kind of said something, and then. Because, I mean, again, they only have, X amount of time to work with. I get that. And they have to, and I'm sure they even, shoot stuff and then they cut it later. So who knows what was actually in there. Maybe in the director's cut or the full-length one, maybe there'll be more to it. Who knows?
Okay. How are we on time?
Well, we are at about 48 minutes. So we should probably
wrap it up.
Wrap this one up, take a short break, and then we'll do the other one.
Okay. Anybody have anything they want to add? Anything you really liked, or really disliked?
Actually, I liked we went about halfway through the movie when they started having like all his partners in crime, if you will, who he joined up with to do the secret mission. I like those characters. I like those guys.
Yeah, but they did that in Captain America too, where he gets, remember where he frees the prisoners, and then all of a sudden he gets his Howling Commandos. He gets like Dum Dum Dugan and the other characters.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar, and I can see why people were complaining about it. Because nerds will complain about anything, but it's especially like, oh, they did it first. Well, whatever, it's fine. And like I've never read a Wonder Woman comic in my life. All my exposure to her has been TV and cartoons and Justice League and wherever whatever comic book she guest starred in. But I've never bought one of her solo titles. Like I said, I'd never found her interesting enough to. But now you said, but I mean, did you draw those parallels when you saw?
No, not at all. I mean, the thing is, I saw Captain America, and I guess I'm not that much into movies where I'm going to see them more than once, or I mean, if I saw them like 1 weekend, the next weekend, I obviously would probably notice. Mm-hmm. But seeing them as far apart as I did. And now being, a quote unquote fanboy, I'm not that much into the, all the details of it and all the ins and outs of all the movies. So I didn't pick up on it at all. And going into it, I was more concerned because I heard so much talk about people talking about like, well, why they liked the movie, why they hated the movie. And, people some people were getting upset that the Wonder Woman character, like when she comes into the regular world and she's in, I think, London for the first time, and she's a baby and she goes all goo goo gaga because she wants to go up and see the little baby. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was like neat to show that human side of her, something she's not used to and something she doesn't know, and something that interests her because it's in her natural DNA or whatever to, want to nurture or whatever. And a lot of women were like, well, people in general, not just women, but people were complaining like, oh, well, Wonder Woman wouldn't be like that. Not at all. I'm like, why wouldn't she be? I mean, if she's a woman, why wouldn't she be? And that's nice that they would actually expose like the softer side to someone,
Yeah. Even though, so Andrew, you'd recommend it.
Yeah.
Kev, you'd recommend?
Absolutely.
Chris, now you gave it an iffy review. Would you recommend it?
I'd recommend it, but I'd say, you might want to go on the internet or watch some YouTube videos after the movie to fill in the blanks on her background and Steve Trevor and, where she goes from World War I.
Okay, and then, like I said, even though I gave it a 2.5, I had a lot of problems with just the technical aspects of the film. Like I said, it's an ugly looking movie to me. And it made it very difficult to it kept taking me out.
Right.
It just, it looked like a really bad 80s video.
See, now I'm interested though, because now I want to watch it again just to see if it does look like that.
It looked, maybe it was the angle I was at in the theater, or it just looks so bad. Right. It's really hard to get over. I don't think it's a terrible movie, not by any stretch of the imagination, but like I said, I don't like the character. If you're intrigued by the character, go see it. I won't tell you not to. We'll save that for our upcoming movie.
Yes, which will be coming up very shortly.
But other than that, I think I'm done.
Yeah, no, I think I'm done too. I enjoyed the movie. I'd recommend it. Angie?
Yeah, I definitely recommend it.
And you enjoyed it?
Mm-hmm.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes.
Of course you did.
Angie sunglasses when we go off. For Melissa.
How about you, Chris? One more time.
I enjoyed it for what it was.
And would you recommend it?
I recommend it with a grain of salt, yeah.
All right. And with that, we're going to let you... Oh, hold on. And with that, we're going to let you go. But before we do, a final shot of Angie.
And say thank you, Melissa.
Thank you, Melissa.